Hello, everyone. Art Ekman along with David Bailey. A great crowd on hand in smoggy, hot, dusty conditions near San Bernardino.
That's true. It doesn't get much worse. Basically, all the junk in L.A. blows out here to Glen Helen and just hangs. Everyone feels like they're going to suffocate.
Even though this is the first national to be run at Glen Helen Raceway, these riders have been here before, David.
That's true. Most of the manufacturers have a test track near here. Some of the guys test on this racetrack, and they're pretty comfortable with it. Even in the case of Kevin Windham, he's from back east, but he still has a place near here, so he's comfortable.
Leading off the 125s, Steve Lamson. What a great start on the season, winning 3 of the 4 motos.
That's right. He's been the dominant guy so far, the one everyone's shooting for, proving why he's got the #1 plate. But in addition to the Wyndhams, John Dowd and Ezra Lusk, who've contested this class before, there's a lot of new guys coming up. And out of that pack, Casey Johnson's really starting to emerge and shine, and a good run last week at Sacramento and sits 4th in the points.
Lamson, of course, topping the Suzuki points list. Bichon, Dowd, Dobb, Casey Johnson in the top 5. And David, it looks like they've really changed this track. They've tried to make it different from years past.
They definitely have. They've taken out a lot of the supercross element that existed here before, really utilized the elevation here, and it's a fast, dusty, choppy track.
Let's take a look at the Suzuki track map.
One of the biggest changes is the starting line, a cement starting grid the riders will have to negotiate before they get out onto a completely new designed racetrack. A lot of elevation. Over to the top left of your screen, they climbs 4 stories. What goes up must come down.
125 riders getting ready. Mikel Bichon. You see a camel back there for drinking water. A lot of cross country and here scrambles. Riders use those items.
Yeah, there you get a look at how those riders try to clean off that starting pad. Some of the guys burn out on that to try to get it hot and hook up better.
Let's go to Marty Reed.
Nice view, isn't it? Well, this is 75 feet atop Animals Leap, at least the top portion if we were here for the Chevrolet Off-Road Winter Series. If you've been watching the series on ESPN2, you know exactly what we're talking about. 75 feet straight down, but if you think those guys are manly men, well, today, in this motocross, that is what they're coming down from now. That's another 100 feet from where we are. And just to throw in a little excitement, of course, they've got that little kick, which means they land way down there. And I'm glad I'm not doing it.
Marty has a good way of putting things, doesn't he? There's Mikel Bichon, his father helping out as one of his mechanics. Number 7, John Dowd, hoping for a good race today, David Bailey.
Well, he impressed me last week in Hangtown. He's a strong rider. He has a good finish, and he's one of the better conditioned athletes out there. And as hot as it is today, I would expect him to shine.
Getting ready for moto number 1, Dobb on the left of your screen. Robbie Reynard back in the action. Casey Johnson, 58. There's Dowd, Pedro Gonzalez, Bichon, Lamson, the defending champion, and Brian Deegan, number 25. And the gate is dropped. Lamson with a good start, but look at Robbie Reynard, number 14, who's back in the game after a broken neck in the Supercross season. Reynard has the lead. Windham in good position in 3rd.
Now, some of these younger guys get good starts off the cement. Remember Ponca City, this is where a lot of the amateurs come up. Kevin Windham as well had a lot of experience on there, but it sure paid off for Reynard.
Reynard working his way back into shape. He sure got a great start this time as he's out in front, number 73, in the new Honda of Troy colors. Blue is Willow in 2nd place.
They switched everything over. They figured it's hot enough. Why wear red and make it worse?
Ezra Lusk, you saw back in the pack now as Reynard is establishing a good lead here on lap number 1.
You can see they put some water on the racetrack. Guys starting to splash through those puddles. And I noticed as we went down the starting line, John Dowd had roll-offs. I think he anticipated getting sprayed a little bit. Reynard's clean. Everyone else is getting dirty. There's the rider going down in that slick stuff.
Steve Lamson, the defending champion who's won 3 of the 4 motos so far this year, is going to be way behind. Look at all the riders passing him.
That's the worst time of the race to fall in the opening lap. Everybody goes by and you got to come from last. It doesn't look like he's going to have to battle any dust. He's done a good job to put water on the racetrack, but his vision will be a problem at the end.
Speaking about dust on the other side of the track, look at this.
Well, you go from getting covered and spray with a little that watery stuff, and then you go through a big powder burn behind some guy, and it just sticks to you. It gets all inside your jersey, and it's not a good feeling, I can tell you that.
Reynard out in front, and on the Suzuki in 2nd place as Reynard starts to pull a lead on him is James Dobb, the Englishman. Dobb, of course, taking over for Craig Decker on his bike, but is a privateer here in the outdoor season now. He just had that one bike for the Supercross season. Then Quicksilver came to help out for James Dobb in 2nd place behind Reynard. But you can see here, Reynard is really putting it on.
I like the way he looks right now. He's doing everything right, not making any mistakes. He looks fairly aggressive, too. You got to remember, when these guys ride practice, before they get out there for the first moto, the weather changes the track quite a bit. A lot of other riders have been out there beating it up. All the lines are gone, plus they put water on it, and he seems to be in the flow right now and pulling away already.
Raynard was into the middle of his rehab from the injured neck when Gainesville took place. That was one of his very favorite tracks. He's won there before. Then at Hangtown, he had a 13th and a 10th in the 2 motos. He just wasn't up to speed yet.
Now, he's had a real tough time with consistency. Now you can see just as Kevin Windham went by your screen there, he's moved into the number 3 spot. He's been pretty fast, but he missed the opening round. So if he wants a shot at the title, he's going to have to get it on in a hurry right now with Lamson in the back of the pack.
Raynard number 14, Dobb number 19, starting to get some pressure now from Kevin Windham. You can't see the number, but it's 38. There you can, the side plate, as Kevin Windham now has moved into a definite contending spot.
This looks pretty good for Yamaha right now. They got Windham challenging for the lead, and Dowd is also up there, plus Lamson still buried in the pack after that first lap crash.
John Dowd whistling through our screen right there. Really only one bad moto in the season. That was the first of the year when he hit a downed rider and then went down a little later. He ended up 34th in that one, but has come back real strong. Raynard, Windham, and there's Dobb, the top 3 right now in moto number 1 of the 125s from Glen Helen. There's Dowd and Pichon right behind him.
So it's a pretty good battle going on right now. These guys are really pushing each other, but they're 10 seconds down from this battle right here for the lead. You don't really need a stopwatch to see how far Windham's behind the leader, but you do need one to get back to that battle for 4th.
Dobb with a couple of good motos this year. He had a 6th place finish in Gainesville in moto number 1 and a 6th place in Hangtown as well.
This battle of 3 guys right here really, as I've mentioned already, starting to pick up the pace. I'll bet you Dobb can start to feel him coming, and Pichon using kind of an interesting line back there, trying to cut up on the side of the hill and miss those bumps. He's taking every precaution he can to try to go the distance. He's got that Camelback for extra water, starting to pick smooth lines, anticipating the end of the race, maybe be able to have a little more strength than everyone else.
Robbie Raynard soon, it looks like, will have some pressure at hand as Windham now picking up the speed as they go up the hill.
And looking back behind these guys, they've got a pretty good lead, so I think that unless Windham is just a lot faster, which I don't see at the moment, he'll be pretty patient in getting around Robbie Raynard right now. Until that battle behind them, it looks like they start to gain. If they do, he'll be pretty content to hang here and not take any major chances.
Robbie Raynard still riding very aggressive, but he's losing time to Windham.
Well, Windham's been on fire, and he's had a lot more opportunity to get out and race than Raynard has after that neck injury. So for Raynard, I mean, this is a good run so far, and his dad put on the board right there. Have fun. You don't have to win this thing. He's way ahead of 3rd place, so if he drops a 2nd, that wouldn't be too bad.
Windham to the inside. Looked like a dirt track race right there, but Robbie Raynard holding on.
Well, Raynard had the better line on the outside. He's able to use that cushion, and with Windham cutting up the inside, he's lucky to keep it on 2 wheels. That square in that corner like that really becomes an off camber. It's a lot harder packed in there, so very slick.
Windham really looking for a good finish here, and in midair kind of changes his line against Robbie Raynard to go to the outside on that turn.
Nice move. He's just trying to do everything he can not to fall. You hear how much the crowd gets into it. If he was just to take the same line, I don't think Raynard would feel threatened, and the crowd wouldn't see that much of a race, really. But when you see a guy taking different lines and trying like that, you know it's just a matter of time. The crowd's into it. Raynard can feel that pressure, and it wouldn't surprise me if Windham got around him real quick now.
That was really our only supercross section left on this track, as Robbie Raynard feels the heat now of Kevin Windham. And you mentioned the crowd. What a great crowd. It was a massive traffic jam before this race got underway.
They're getting their money's worth right now. Windham is all over Raynard.
Kevin Windham super in those whoops. He's got the edge on Raynard. Comes over the hill. Can Robbie make it back? Oh, he cut to the inside and the outside, and Raynard now in 2nd place. Kevin Windham has taken over 1st place again.
Here's another look back through that whoop section. Windham takes over the lead. A little bit better line around the outside. But watch what Raynard does. Smart. He keeps that bike nice and low, drives off the backside of that jump into the corner, gets him back briefly, but Windham had it all covered. So now he's starting to pull away a little bit, as you can see.
Robbie Raynard in 2nd place gave it a good battle as he got the whole shot, but Kevin Windham now has taken over the lead, and what a thrill for this guy who got a late start on the season because of the broken collarbone, but he says, you know, Steve Lamson did it last year, losing virtually 3 motos, 2 to injury and 1 to a mechanical at the beginning of the year, and he came back and won it in the last moto of the season.
Well, that's got to give him hope. I know he wants to win this title, and Actually, he's not as far down to begin with as Lamson was last year. There's a lot more competition out there, too. So if he can keep putting together rides like this with Lamson in the pack, he'll be able to catch up quick.
Dicing for third now. Pichon goes through the picture first. Michael Craig, number 17.
He's starting to come on strong, and he's copying all the lines of Pichon. Look at Pichon going wide. Able to jump the double jump coming out of the corner, able to jump all the way over that plateau. A lot different than the lines of Kevin Windham, who's out front right now, and I wonder if they're catching up to him.
This is Craig's first outdoor of the year. Pichon took an overall 5th in the first event at Gatorback and in a 3rd in Sacramento at Hangtown. But Craig is starting to put the pressure now on the young Mikel Pichon out of Le Mans, France. Pichon winning the first moto of the year at Gatorback and then slipped to 12th place in the second. Here's Michael Craig making the pass over the jump.
Craig came out of that corner, had a good run into that whoop section, and just went right by Pichon like he was standing still. So he's perhaps learned enough from Pichon. Now he knows how to hold him off, and I think these guys are gaining on the leaders right now.
No one has ever questioned Pichon's technique. It's beautiful. We've seen it in Supercross as well. But what about his endurance, David?
Well, I think that's where the problem is. Rayner goes by. He's still running down second. He's not lost that much time to Windham. But Pichon, I think that he's trying to take smooth lines, and that can really hurt you, I think, in the long run. When you try to take the smooth lines and not the fastest lines, that's a symbol right there that you don't have the confidence in your conditioning.
A testimony of Jeremy McGrath a couple of years ago when he made the conversion to do better at outdoors. He said, that's what I was doing. I wasn't taking my own line. I had to blast through to be successful. Steve Lamson's mechanic looking rather concerned right now. His man went down to the first lap, and right here he's getting passed. It's Rusty Holland, number 71, passing Steve Lamson. Lamson having his problems in 14th, but he's looking down to the back tire. It's a flat tire probably.
Yeah, it looks like it. He's losing time right now. He already had enough problems having to come from about 25th in that first lap crash, so he'll be way off the pace now.
Here's Michael Craig in second place. Oh, Craig goes off the track, hits the hay bale, came down wrong and cased it.
There's another look. It looks like he squared that berm. He just got way off line. You can see he was aiming right for the hay bale. Nothing he could do about it. He goes flying into the crowd.
And Robbie Raynard goes back into second place behind Kevin Windham. Number 14, Raynard. What a race for him.
Now Casey Johnson's starting to catch up, and here's that battle still. James Dobb getting chased by John Dowd, and Scott Sheik is up in there now. Good run for him.
Number 34, Ezra Lusk, right at the back of this pack, putting the heat on right now. We're going to have a great battle for 4th place.
It's an excellent class. There's so much talent packed in it, and everyone's pretty equal. You got Windham out front right now doing the McGrath thing, but behind him is a fantastic battle. Sheik with a better line than Dobb. Dobb looking back. I don't know if he's got a problem too, but
well, Sheik like started off the year, you might remember, David, with 2 third places, a 2nd overall at Gatorback, and he's trying to recover, though, from a very harsh Hangtown.
Well, this should be, he's got to redeem himself a little bit after last week, but he was talking about having a trainer and working really hard. He's got a place out here now, starting to ride out here in California, a little more used to these conditions, and it looks like it right now.
Ezra Lusk does not like being the caboose of these 4 guys. He's really trying to step up the pace. Scott Sheik, Dobb number 19. Then you've got Dowd, and there's Ezra Lusk number 34.
You can see the difference of lines on this track, the far inside, the far outside. If you catch somebody, you're not held up by a one-line racetrack at all. Lusk has apparently caught these guys, and he should be able to get around.
The double Ds, Dobb and Dowd right in front of Ezra Lusk as Scott Sheik is out front. Whoa, he's off the track. He's still up on the bike, but he had to go off the track in that section. Here's Robbie Raynard. Raynard's getting some pressure now from Casey Johnson as we take another look.
You saw Sheik, well, the back end is swapped way out to the left, aimed him right off the track. He did stay on the bike, but he's going to have to circle back around and go over that jump again. He'll lose touch with that battle.
Robbie Raynard getting pressured by number 58, Casey Johnson. We've brought up his name quite a bit this year. Casey Johnson, spots of brilliance in Supercross, really maturing well.
And he's very young still. He's got a bright future. He's on that Mitch Payton Pro Circuit team. Mitch has done well to bring up guys like McGrath and Pichon.
Number 58 gets the momentum. Here's bar to bar. Now in the Dust Bowl over there, Casey Johnson moves in front of Robbie Raynard.
That was good thinking on Casey Johnson's part. He set that up going up the hill into that section, carried the speed all out wide and switching back to the inside. And, nothing Raynard could do about it now. He can maybe get him back, though, if he's clever and stays aggressive.
Raynard going to the inside, couldn't take the speed on that corner that Johnson did a little bit further out. Johnson staying to the outside of a lot of those turns now that he's made his pass on Robbie Raynard.
Now, just looking at the way Rayner got up that hill, that's 2 corners in a row now where he's been flat tracking it. I don't know if it's he just doesn't have the right body positioning to hook up good, but it seems like he's sliding around quite a bit right now.
Not only is he sliding a lot, but we just went by a rock pile, didn't we?
There's a lot of shale out there, and I have a feeling that's what happened to Lamson's tire. Anytime you get a lot of rocks in the racetrack, you can expect flat tires.
Our Marty Reed is with Robert Raynard, the mechanic and dad of Robbie.
Robert, he started off real well. He's faded just a little bit, but still, you got to be happy after all the riding time he's missed.
I'm real happy right now. He's been fighting a rear flat tire from the 3rd lap, so I got to get back out here. Sorry, can't talk more.
That's okay. So the action is fast and furious, something that we didn't even notice as he went flying by here. He has got a flat rear tire.
That's really amazing, David, that he's kept up there as long as he has. If it's been since about the 3rd lap, it's ready to go off the rim by now, the way he's racing.
Well, now you can see he's really starting to lose time to Lusk, and looks like John Dowd back there. And I'm pretty impressed. You know, I've ridden with a flat, and he's lucky it's a rear flat. So is Lamson. A front flat's almost impossible. You just lose the front wheel every corner. Lusk coming to the inside of him. Robbie's doing a good job to hang on to it. You can't even tell he's got a flat, really.
Fooled us.
Yeah, I was looking for it. I saw him sliding around. I was looking at the rear tire, and it just didn't look flat. But his dad has confirmed it for us. That's impressive. If he can ride like that, not lose much time.
And have a fast rider like Ezra Lusk having trouble really laboring to get by him.
Yeah.
Ezra Lusk goes to the outside. John Dowd is right behind Ezra. And look for the 2 really to pass on this lap, as Ezra's already gotten the inside move on Robbie Raynard, and Raynard right there is just not going to get the traction. You know, a lot of novices out there are going to say, David Bailey, how can you ride on a flat tire?
Determination. I've done it before. You see, right there, he gets all the way over that plateau. So he's doing things right. He's picking good lines, maintaining his momentum, and you know, it's just the way it goes. You got to try your hardest and just get the points you can get.
Robbie Raynard just hanging on for points, hoping that doesn't come off the rim right now. And we've got word now that Marty Reed's moving over toward the Mikel Pichon pits.
Mikel Pichon comes in. He's got a flat tire, and they're going to lose a lot of track position. It is the rear, and it's going to have to come off and get changed. Pichon looks to be okay. He's asking for more water. Pichon looking for more water right now. Doesn't seem to be able to find any. So Pichon, who has been complaining about the heat and asthma-like conditions, just dumps the water over the back of his neck. His water bottle, or the water pack around his neck, is already empty. So you can tell how hot it is, and they're getting the new tire on. He should be back out here, but it's going to cost him an awful lot in the first moto.
You see Roy Turner there, Team Kawasaki team manager, as well as Chad Watts, Mikel's mechanic. How fast can they change a rear tire? It takes quite a while.
Oh, I think it would have to take them probably 2 or 3 minutes, almost a full lap. It's not like NASCAR or car racing where they can just put up on the jack, do it quick. They got spacers, they got to line up the chain. They can't touch that disc because it's hot.
Okay, John Dowd making the late race surge, number 7 now. And Ezra Lusk going bar to bar, wheel to wheel right now. John always tough toward the end of a moto.
Well, he's tough. Yeah, he got around Lusk, but again, you see all the different lines out there. Lusk taking advantage of that, ran it in on Dowd, but Dowd just won't crack.
John Dowd moving into 3rd on that pass of Ezra Lusk now. As Casey Johnson in front of him, Wyndham with a big lead here in Moto 1 of the 125s from Glen Helen. Ezra Lusk trying to catch back up to John Dowd. Dowd, though, with a good strong line. Look out! He's out of order. Ezra Lusk goes spinning in the air.
Can't really tell what happened. Looked like he just got sideways and hit a bad little kicker on that jump.
Boy, it looked like it wrenched his neck. I hope he's okay. Ezra Lusk from Bainbridge, Georgia, and John Dowd now clearly into 3rd. So we have well-defined positions until Dowd might be able to catch up to Casey Johnson.
Right now, Casey Johnson's got a lot of pressure.
You betch him. Dowd with a real quick turn goes into 2nd place on Casey Johnson. Johnson, though, all he has to do is stay upright to make the podium or 3rd place finish here in Moto number 1. John Dowd with a tremendous late race surge. A heel clicker by the leader again in that Supercross section, entertaining the fans. Incidentally, Ezra Lusk is back up and running. He was okay after that crash. It's been a big story of flat tires here today, David Bailey, as we see John Dowd being chased by Casey Johnson, but time running out.
Well, still a good run for Johnson. I'm really impressed with Dowd, though. He had actually gone down earlier, dropped as far back as 7th, I think, maybe 8th, catching all the way back up. And Yamaha has got to be beside themselves right now, 1-2 in this first moto.
My goodness, what a run for Kevin Windham, as he has a shot still at the 125 West Supercross crown. What a shot in the arm for the entire Yamaha crew, all the mechanics, the front office people. The checkered flag for Kevin Windham, his very first National Outdoor victory. Windham, Dowd, Casey Johnson, Tim Ferry after a bad start goes all the way up to 4th. Dobb, Lamson, Willow, Ashkenazi at 8th, Pedersen, and Skaggs the top 10. Let's go down to Marty Reed now, who, well, Kevin Windham could be dehydrated by now.
Well, we're down here with Kevin Windham, and I've got to tell you, you look like you're about spent.
Yeah, I am. I think not so much spin. I just got some dirt in my mouth the first lap, and off of Robbie's back tire, and I had trouble swallowing the whole time.
Well, Allie told us that you weren't wearing a water belt, so you had no way of rinsing your mouth.
Yeah, that was a pretty good factor there. I couldn't breathe. I kind of started to gag actually, so we'll have to do something about it, or just keep my mouth shut. One of the two. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you, you pulled away from everybody.
Yeah, I felt really strong. I pulled a big lead and then just started cruising. I seemed to have a big lead, and I sat back and watched the race behind me. John rode good back there.
So would it be a good guess that we might see you with a water belt here in the second moto?
We'll see.
Okay. Kevin Windham, your winner.
Catch him right after a race is difficult to get a smile, but we got one from him. What about our third place finisher?
Casey, tough way to end it there. Looked like you had second. Great ride, though.
Yeah, I was pushing real hard. I knew John was coming. He's extremely strong late in the motos. And I felt like I had a little bit of energy the last 2 laps to just push as hard as I can. But, you know, he's a great rider. My hat's off to him.
Welcome back to Glen Helen. Art Ekman, David Bailey, Marty Reed as they start cleaning off the slab for the start of the second moto. You know, quite an accomplishment for this young man, Steve Lamson. We saw him crash in the first turn in Moto 1, saw him with a flat tire. He still picked up 6th place points.
That's amazing. I mean, just to work your way up and get 6th without a flat tire would be a pretty amazing accomplishment out here with the kind of competition they have. But you see right there, break out the bleach. Wyndham's doing the burnouts. They should come out there and I'd lay down some 3M glue or something, see what I could do to get all the traction I could get. I think that might be Casey Johnson right there.
You guessed it, number 58.
Putting some electrical tape. That's weird tape to be using for blisters like that, but hey, whatever it takes.
Especially in the heat, it'd melt right through your hand, wouldn't it? Okay, we're getting set for the start of Moto number 2 for the 125s in Southern California. The gate to drop at any moment now, and look at number 73. He got a good jump. Lamson is right there, though. But the guy out in front, heading for the corner, as Windham gets the whole shot. Chad Pedersen in good position. There goes Pedro Gonzalez flying through the air. Also Ferry, number 12. Pashone getting hung up in that crash. Ferry just getting up off the ground, isn't on his bike yet, as Kevin Windham, the whole shooter, now takes the lead.
Windham, who rode so good in that first moto, said he got a big lead and just cruised. Now he's got the whole shot, so he may be able to really cruise this moto.
Boy, if he could double up here, he'd be catching up fast after missing that entire first race at Gainesville. It's Windham, Willow, and then Chad Pedersen and Dowd in 4th. Lamson not far back in 6th, though.
Lamson with a pretty good start, and knowing that he came from as far off the pace as he did after going down with the flat tires we already pointed out, getting 6th. Well, he can move through the pack quick here, but he's going to have to because Windham is on the gas.
Michael Brandis fans also can take heed that he got caught up in that crash there in the first turn, as we get word that he got up pretty slow too. Here's Windham. Windham kind of pounding the top of the crown of that hill.
Well, he had a good line coming into the corner, squared it, got it right into that berm, but he hit a little kicker at the exit of it. Did a good job to save it. He just did a nice little swap there. I don't think that much of a little swap's going to concern him. Heading into that section now where Lusk went down, see how dusty it is now. It's going to be hard for the guys that got bad starts to see through there.
Windham just looking flawless right now. And he's starting to pull the lead on the rest of the riders. Willow, number 73, still in 2nd. Pedersen in 3rd. Dowd, Lamson now has moved into 4th with Robbie Raynard in 5th.
Windham right now is going to be looking over his shoulder, and he'll see Willow and Chad Pedersen. Good to see Pedersen back up there after that problem early in the Supercross series.
You know, it's great to see him smiling again. In Minnesota, he crashed and cracked a screw that was holding a plate steady from a prior mishap. He had a cast on it, missed all but 2 of the 125 Supercross races, so he is really happy to get back on the machine. He's giving good pressure to Jeff Willow, who had several good starts during the Supercross season.
Right, and you see that Wyndham came out of that corner at the top and just left a skid mark all the way down that hill on the gas, starting to pull away from these guys. And as I was about to point out, I don't think he'll be that threatened by either one of these. Pedersen now moving into second, riding good, but I don't think that he's really a threat for Wyndham, the way Wyndham rode the first moto especially. And he'll look over his shoulder, see Dowd back there. That's the only guy that's really got in contention.
Lamson.
Right, in contention to steal the overall away from him. Lamson can't do it because of that 6th place in the first moto.
Chad Pedersen getting the ride with the Split Fire Pro Circuit after becoming Privateer or Non-Factory Rider of the Year for the entire series last year. Highest in the points of a non-factory rider.
The wind's starting to kick up right now. Problem is, it's a hot wind. So it's just making the conditions out here even worse.
Steve Lamson making a good run right now. Jeff Willow. Lamson, number 1 to the inside. He moves into 3rd. Well, he's still got a battle on his hands, though, as Willow comes off that hill in great fashion. He doesn't want to give it up.
No, he had a run on him up the inside, but Willow's been pretty tough. I think Lamson is going to get around him sooner or later. You see right there, he's not happy to take the same line. He's inside, he's outside, and he's all over Willow. Willow's going to crack anytime.
There you see our leader, Wyndham, who's pulled about a 5-second lead now on Chad Pedersen. Willow, and Lamson has his hands full getting by Willow.
Willow getting a little out of control there, the same as Wyndham did on the first lap. Finally gets that mistake is what really cost him. He lost all that momentum getting up that long uphill, dragging the horsepower out of these 125s. Lamson just had a stronger run out of the corner.
Many of these 125 riders having flat tires in the first moto. What are their options as far as tire work in between motos?
Yeah, there really aren't any. You can do foam, you can use different tubes, 2 tubes and all that, but you're on a 125, you're going to lose too much horsepower because of adding all that weight. Really all you can do is just put on a new tire, new tube, hope you don't pinch it, and keep your fingers crossed, and hopefully take better lines and miss some of those rocks out there.
So Steve Lamson, who had his problems in moto number 1, is trying to make up for it now here early in moto number 2.
Lamson's definitely fast. He may be the fastest guy on the track right now. He knows that the sooner he can get around Pedersen, the better. He can probably get up and catch Wyndham and make a good race out of it.
Our leader, Kevin Wyndham, followed by these 2 young men, Chad Pedersen, number 21, and Steve Lamson. I'm impressed with Pedersen, who hasn't been on the bike that much this year. He's looking back. That doesn't give me a good sign that he's going to hold on to second place, as Lamson trying to cut to the inside and does so with such ease. Here's the battle for 3rd place right now. Chad Pedersen, just getting past moments ago, has another challenger right on his heels, and that is John Dowd. Incidentally, Kevin Wyndham still out in front with Steve Lamson in 2nd.
And the way Dowd caught up to Chad Pedersen right here, he just, especially as strong as he finished the first moto, I have a feeling he's going to get around him. But even if he does, it'd still be a pretty good ride from Pedersen. He's just trying to inch his way back into the field where he feels like he belongs. And he's a real contender up here, but right now, I can understand why he may be fading just a little.
John Dowd trying to get the right angle on Chad Pedersen.
There's that downhill where Lusk went down the first moto. These guys are starting to change their line a little bit, run more on the left side of the track.
Down to the inside on Pedersen. John Dowd. Yes, he moves into 3rd. Dowd's got the strength and the time so far in this moto to catch up with Lamson. That'd be an interesting battle.
And I think it's a real possibility, too. The second moto at Hangtown in our last event, Dowd caught Lamson from pretty far back, challenged him in the last couple laps. He looks like, to me, he's going just as fast as Lamson did. He's already around Pedersen. You can see he's got a little lead already. And there's time left in this moto. He knows that if he can get back up there, he may have a shot at the overall win. So he's pushing hard right now.
I'm glad you brought that memory back, because that was one of the... Whoa! Michael Craig goes down.
Well, that's second time today he's gone down, so he's having a tough day.
I was starting to say I was glad you brought that point up, because that was one of the most exciting moments of the young season, was the battle between Steve Lamson and John Dowd. And right now, Lammy's got a battle of his own going as he's caught up with Kevin Wyndham out front. Oh, my goodness. Kevin Wyndham with Steve Lamson right on his tail. It's important that Kevin stay upright and smart.
Right, he's got to make good decisions right here. And even if he was to let Lamson by, or not let him by, but get past, he'd still win the overall as long as he can hold off John Dowd. So that may be on his mind, but right now it looks like he's given Lamson all he can handle. This is going to be a great battle.
And that would be his first national outdoor overall in his career. That would put another smile on his face, I'm sure. Lamson really gassing it inside now. Great turn by Steve Lamson. We've got a new leader. Lamson, though, having trouble there in the whoops. Here comes Wyndham back again. Oh!
Great move by Wyndham. He kept the speed through there, and Lamson actually made a little bobble. That's the section where Lusk went down. That's a real tricky section coming through there. There's a lot of rocks, and it's kind of like a big whoop-de-doo section all the way down through there. And Lamson started swapping and had to back off a little, and that gave Wyndham the edge he needed.
And here comes Lamson again, right back at Wyndham, retaking the lead.
That surprises me right there. Wyndham went into the corner. Here's a look at the first pass. Wyndham got out there against that wall, started hitting some of those bumps, and Lamson got by on the inside. Then he drifted wide out of that wall. Look, he gets sideways right there. Kind of scary there for a moment. He's smart to keep the front end up. And into this corner right here, I don't know what happened to Wyndham. He just left the door wide open. He had to know Lamson was there, but I think Lamson did surprise him a little bit.
Boy, on that turn, it looked like an ice skater, just shaving ice as he comes in. You put the brake on and then accelerate out of that corner.
Well, sometimes you make a pass like that, and you surprise yourself at how fast you're able to enter the corner and still make it. And then you think, why don't I do that every lap?
Our Marty Reed's in the mechanics area right now.
Allie, by my calculations, he only has to finish second to win the overall. Is that what he's doing, just pacing, or are you getting a battle?
No, we're getting a battle. Lammy's riding good, and he's just got to push it. We definitely need the points.
So you want him to win?
Yeah, we want to win. But right now, Lammy's going a little faster, and we got to find he's got some good lines.
Okay, guys, it tells you they are not holding back. They're going for the win.
My guess is, David Bailey, that they're not going to do anything foolish, though.
No, he'll make good decisions, as we pointed out already. Look at that line, that nice line. He cut between both those ruts, was able to get over that double jump. Allie just pointed out the fact that Lamson maybe had some better lines out there in the racetrack, and already Wyndham started to pick up on some of those, and no, I think it'd be a big boost if he could stay close to Lamson. Even if he loses, but he still picks up the overall win. If he stays close, that'll let Lamson know that he's there and he'll be a threat in the future. But if he just pulls away right now, Lamson won't be worried at all.
John Dowd starting to pull away from fourth place. Chad Pedersen and Robbie Raynard, though, now with a good tire, he's putting the heat on Chad Pedersen.
Raynard running down the left side of that downhill, carrying more speed into the corner. He'll have the outside right here, but that'll put him on the inside in the next corner. So excellent move. He's going to make that pass. Pedersen keeps running the outside. First Lamson got around him on the inside, then Dowd got around him on the inside, and now Raynard. So it's just one by one losing positions to guys passing him on the inside.
Patterson being the whipping boy, moving down to fifth right now. But, you know, actually, if he should finish in fifth, that'd be a good run for Chad Pedersen.
Yeah, it sure would. Now it's Buddy Antonez sitting off the side of the racetrack. I don't know what's wrong with him, but he's taking his goggles off. Doesn't look like he's going anywhere.
Robbie Raynard trying to move up after the misfortunes of the first moto. The flat tire, and about the second lap was the word we finally got, and he ran the entire race with that flat tire. Here's Kevin Wyndham. If he should hold on to second place, he would get the overall victory after winning the first moto, but Lamson is right there for the points.
Well, this is an important moto for Lamson. You know, finishing sixth, I mean, he has plenty of excuses. You can understand why he had finished that far back. It's actually a great ride, but right now he is just showing everybody why he's got that #1 plate. And I was really thinking it'd be good for Wyndham to try to stay up there and prove that he's just as good as Lamson and will be in the future. But right now, he knows he's the man of this class.
Lammy coming over the Supercross section, actually. How many jumps did they used to have? Quite a few, didn't they?
They had a lot of big plateaus through there, one really long plateau, but they've taken some of that out now.
Where Lamson is obviously making his own breaks, getting some luck back. Buddy Antonez, not so lucky, Marty.
Buddy Antonez has pulled in, and they are working on the opposite side of the bike from where we are. It looks as though he's having problems with the gear shift. He cannot get it to shift gears, so they've got a real serious problem. He's going to go back out and try it.
David, what's it like running in one gear?
Well, it's only happened to me a couple of times. I was stuck in third gear once on a 250, which is about as lucky as you can get. There goes Dowd in third place. Throw the Suzuki stopwatch on, see how far behind Raynard is. About 8 seconds. So he's actually stayed about the same. Pedersen's still right there too. That's encouraging. And one time in a race in Europe on a 500, I lost 5th gear. And they had a lot of long straightaways, so I was just wound out in all the gears. And between motos, they switched from a 5-speed to a 4-speed. It was in a Trophy of the Nations race. And I didn't know what gear to start on the starting line, so I guessed, started in second, got the whole shot, and it all worked out.
Oh, that's lucky.
Yeah, it is.
Great intelligence.
Well, just luck, I think, really. Nothing to do with intelligence, just hope it works. There's Pichon now, 36 seconds back from Dowd, who's in 3rd place, way back from the leaders. And what a lousy day for Pichon so far.
In 10th place currently, which is quite a battle when you consider he got hung up in that first turn crash off the start.
Well, a flat tire in the first moto, a first turn crash in the second moto. I mean, what a lousy day. But you still got to push as hard as you can. I mean, the title could come down to today. Passing 1 or 2 more guys may make the difference in the end.
Ezra Lusk right out in front of the Frenchman, Mikel Pichon. We had so many flat tires and it affected many of the leaders in Moto 1. Marty, what about Moto 2?
Well, you can see everybody learned from the first moto, plenty of tires in the ready position, but believe it or not, we have yet to see one bike come in here for a tire problem. So obviously, everybody changing the compounds, figuring out how to run this racetrack without running flat.
Okay, Marty, thank you very much. There's Jeff Willow, 73, Casey Johnson, 58, and Ezra Lusk, as we've got a 3-bike freight train right now. Looks like it could be a competitive one.
It could be. Actually, the first moto, Lusk was really starting to pour it on until he ended up on his head. No points. He ended up 26th. So now he's got a lot of work to do to catch up in this 125 class. Casey Johnson, though, is the one that's on the move. And he looked pretty tired at the end of the first moto. So we'll see if he can last here.
Casey taking a 3rd in that first moto, if you've just joined us. Willow with a quick start in both motos, but fading a little bit. A lot of it's learning how to condition yourself for these kinds of races.
Learning how to eat the right things, drink the right things, come in here well hydrated, and to do the right things between motos. You don't get much time, you got to use it to the best of your advantage. And just to try to get the best results with the least amount of energy is a real fine line. And once you get that combination, you really have a lot of energy to spare.
Ezra Lusk trying to catch up and get in a good position to put a challenge on Casey Johnson. And Ezra looking good against Jeff Willow here. How does he come out of the corner? He cuts it short.
Well, this is that same section where he went down the first moto. And you can bet he remembers that. Look at these guys all bunched up coming into the corner. Lusk with the fastest line.
Lusk to the inside. This is a popular place to pass right here on the uphill grind. Lusk challenging Casey Johnson. Goes wide. Good throttle. Ezra Lusk moving into 6th place.
Well, that took a lot of strength. He just changed his line and midway up that hill, went all the way around the outside wide, didn't even let off. Look at him, wide open. In that berm out there, just left it pegged right around the outside of Casey Johnson. He knew even if he pulled up next to him, he'd have the inside into that corner there. He would have made the pass anyway. So now look at all the breathing room he's got now.
Exciting pass for Ezra Lusk.
Casey Johnson starting to look over his shoulder now like, oh man, how many more guys are back there? I'm getting tired. That's usually a symbol that the guys are wanting that white flag to come out.
Right now we're looking at Casey Johnson, number 58 in 7th place. He was just passed by Ezra Lusk, number 34, and Ezra's just not satisfied with just passing Casey, it looks like, as he's got the throttle pretty well wide open in some areas. Casey having a little bit of problems there, looking a little fatigued.
Yeah, he does look tired. The moto's winding down. He feels like as long as he holds off Willow, that's about all that he can manage, because Lusk came by him with a little bit more aggressiveness. You can see right there he's charging pretty hard. And Casey right there kind of falling into a couple of those holes. He's losing his momentum, and it's not a good feeling. You just want the race to be over with when you start getting tired like that.
Is it like other sports, David, though, when you get tired and get a little lax, you got to look out for injuries or spills?
Yeah, of course. Anytime you get tired, you start to ride a little different. You start to hit holes that you normally don't hit, and that's when it can sneak up and bite you.
Here's a man, though, on a mission. Steve Lampson, after a 6th place finish, he battled through everything to get a 6th place finish in the first moto, is on his final lap way out in front, saluting the crowd with a little entertaining move.
That's the same jump the first moto where Wyndham did a heel clicker. So if you're looking for who did the best thing for the fans, I think Wyndham's winning that race with a heel clicker off of that.
Oh, look at him clear the big jump, Steve Lampson. Incidentally, Wyndham in this moto is in second position. He's not getting a big threat from anybody right now. That would give him his first overall. Lamson, though, is in control here in moto number 2.
Starting to throw it sideways everywhere, wave to the crowd. It's got to feel good, but he's not going to win the overall, and he won't be happy with that. Pitching it sideways again off of this plateau. Not far to go to pick up the second moto win.
After last year's incredible string of victories that brought him back into the title chase, the one he finally won by 5 points over Ryan Hughes, he knows that every point counts. For Steve Lamson, a turn away, the checkers. Steve Lamson, his 4th moto win in 6 tries. Lamson winning this moto would put him up 3rd overall. Kevin Wyndham in 2nd place, winning the overall. John Dowd, a hearty performance as well. Ezra Lusk, Casey Johnson, Willow Pichon, and Ferry rounding out the top 10. Let's go to Marty.
What a difference a good set of tires can help a good rider with, huh?
Yeah, I ran the same tire. I just got flat that first moto, and now I'm on like the 3rd lap. Excuse me. But
now they told, wait a minute, I got to jump in here because they told us that you made a change. They didn't tell us what, but Mike said that he went back to Dunlap and may have made a change.
This moto we did. We made a change on the tube choice, and it worked out really good. We put some different style tubes in there, but ran the same tire compound, and it worked really good. I just got off to a so-so start and just kind of played it cool at first, and just rode my own race.
So, guys, it turned out to be the tube, not the tire, that made the difference. Of course, the rider had a little bit to do with it.
Yeah, that race was good for me. I felt strong. I was pretty upset about the first race, but could have been a lot worse the first race. I mean, a lot worse because a lot of guys pull off and they get a flat, and I kept going and ended up getting a 6, so paid off.
Your winner, Steve Lamson.
Here's a look at the overall order. Kevin Wyndham, of course, looking forward to clinching the Supercross title next week, has taken his 1st overall. Marty?
Well, I'll tell you what, you obviously weren't choking this time, but did you sort of back off at the end because you knew you had the overall? You're 1st, by the way. Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, Lemmy was riding a really strong race that time, and I don't know if I could hang with him or not, but it was definitely smarter in my case to lay back and just go ahead and take the overall.
How was it to be able to breathe this race?
Yeah, I didn't get near as much dirt this time. Things went pretty smooth for me. I was right there in between Lammy and Dowd, and it was a relatively just kind of just stayed the same the whole race, and it was pretty comfortable for me.
Well, let's see how good a shape you're in. You want to do it again right now?
We'll wait till next weekend.
And I don't blame them, guys.
That's right, Marty. All the pieces beginning to fit together for that young man. Steve Lamson still leading our Suzuki points total with John Dowd next. John Dowd, 2nd overall.
Well, John, I know it's not as the position you wanted, but points are points. Good ride.
Yeah, them guys got away from me a little in the beginning. I think I was just riding a little tight, or something, but I had some pretty bad arm pump in the first moto, and it was still lingering around. And in the second moto, I couldn't quite hold on, as strong as I would have liked to. But them guys are going good. I mean, I gotta give them credit. They were riding fast today.
Dowdy will be there when the bell rings, but this guy with a heel clicker, he's the headliner today, David.
Oh, he's really starting to impress me. Picking up his 1st win, that's going to boost his confidence. He's already moved into a tie for 5th place in the points. And Lamson doesn't surprise me by topping this class, but there's some new kids coming strong.
A great morale victory, too, for Team Yamaha. 1 and 2 on the podium there for the overall. That's got to put a big kick into their effort year long. We'll be right back with the 250s from Glen Helen. Welcome back to Glen Helen Raceway. Art Ekman and David Bailey. Jeremy McGrath has started a new streak. After his 13 consecutive Supercross victories, he has won them all as far as the motos here in the outdoors.
4 for 4 so far. It could go more than 13, I have a feeling, but Greg Albertine really is the next fastest guy out there on the racetrack. He DNF'd the first moto Hangtown, but in the second moto he came from about 15th place, caught up to Jeremy, took a little time out of his lead. And I would expect him to get faster as the season continues.
And he's well suited for this track, the former world champion.
Right, and he's got to have better luck. And what better place to do it than on a track like this? It's a little bit more like Europe. It's dustier, there's a lot more elevation, and not as much Supercross stuff.
Stuff? Are you kidding me?
The right word isn't always there, dang it.
Jeremy McGrath. He's won his last 9 motos going back to last year. 5 consecutive overalls.
Look at Bradshaw. He's sticking, I don't know what that is. He's trying to absorb some of that sweat in his goggles. It's something riders or people don't really notice out there, but It's obviously very hot. Rocco's getting some water poured on his back from DeCoster. That'll be cool in the beginning, but that's where all the dirt sticks.
Jeremy, a perfect 100. Emig in second place with LaRocco, Bradshaw, and Lawrence rounding out the top 5. The 30-second board is up now for moto number 1 of the 250s. Time to get serious. There you see number 2, Emig, bright new green uniform. 103, Jeff Matazovic, who just came back from the Japanese National Supercross Series. He's done that the last 2 seasons. Sideways, gate ready to drop at any moment now as we're looking at Jeremy McGrath's machine. He rips the throttle open and gets the great start. Oh my goodness, Jeremy McGrath, a clean hole shot.
He hooked up off of that cement so good you could tell he had the hole shot in the first 10 feet of the race.
Albertine, number 16 in second place, giving him a good go. That's Emig, number 2. Number 13 is Phil Lawrence.
Good start for Phil Lawrence. He's kind of a local hotshot around here. He's been riding good lately. Bradshaw running around the inside of the corner, way back in the pack right now.
Well, the hole shot to Jeremy McGrath. He's gotten every hole shot so far this year.
And Doug Henry's pulling some banners with him. He must have gone right off the edge of the racetrack.
Oh, in turn 2, Emig and Lawrence. Emig, whoops, sorry, sir. Emig having trouble getting back on the track. And there's, it looks like Taylor.
No, Emig's just a pinball out there, getting taken out by the flagger, all kinds of riders trying to get going in a hurry. That takes a lot of energy out of you, and by the time he gets through with the first lap, he's already going to be breathing hard.
Meanwhile, out of the Dust Bowl, as we barely see McGrath come through, it's Greg Albertine right behind him, the former 3-time world champion on Team Suzuki, now number 16, trying to give a challenge to Mr. Number 1.
McGrath so aggressive up that hill, charging so hard you could hear the throttle just winding out. He's also cut a lot of holes in his jersey. It looked like he jumped in a piranha tank. He's got little like inch holes cut all in the jersey. Albertine right now though he's right there, different lines, but he's on Jeremy's tail.
Boy, it looked like he was headed over the hill that time as he takes the berm, and one of our aggressive fans getting in the camera's way. Albertine trying to hug on to Jeremy McGrath here with the early going of moto number 1 in our first 250 exposure of the day.
Jeremy's lines I like the way he goes down that hill. He utilizes the berm, stays out of all those holes. Albertine riding right through all the holes, but he's still right on Jeremy's tail, so it doesn't matter. He's muscling through them.
Well, it's obvious that not only is Jeremy now winning outdoors after winning his first national outdoor title last year, but it is fun for him.
Well, it's fun because he's in shape now. It was no fun for him to try to miss all the holes and get passed by LaRocco and Kudrowski all those races in the past couple of years, but now he's got the confidence to ride right through the rough stuff, and it's taken him a lap or two, looks like right now, to find his rhythm. He looks real aggressive, but he's made a few mistakes, and that's allowed Albertine to stay right there.
Albertine with good confidence in the outdoors, similar to his European experience as we mentioned earlier.
Well, in the indoors, I just don't think he has the finesse yet, and he's taken too many chances indoors.
Mike LaRocco, they say it's ignition problems. He's talking it over with his dad, his mechanic. And LaRocco going back on the course.
Yeah, that's no good. The first lap, I mean, he's already going to be probably, there's 40 guys in the race. I would be inclined to think that he's going to be 40th right now. And this first moto, he's going to lose a lot of points, even if he can get back going. You see the lead now that McGrath and Albertine enjoy. Only a couple laps into the book, lap and a half rather, and you can't even see third place. So.
And to Albertine's credit, only a 2-second lead for Jeremy McGrath.
Well, this reminds me of the first moto of the season at Gainesville, where Albertine was right there with Jeremy until he just little by little started slipping back, eventually went down. Right here, he looks pretty good. This isn't the kind of track that I would expect Jeremy to really shine on. I would expect, actually, Albertine would be a lot more comfortable on this fast track. Doesn't really have much supercross stuff. Just hold the throttle wide open, slide, hit the bumps, and do the best you can. That's in the favor of Albertine.
Getting further removed from supercross, Albertine says it's a lot easier with these kind of successes against your top riders to motivate yourself during the week.
True, and that jump they just came over, the stuff that is sort of like a supercross, you can see how much better Jeremy is. He clears that whole hill before they start up into this climb, and Albertine kind of lands on the top, scrubs off a little speed.
There was some question coming into this first moto about McGrath's knee. Oh, and McGrath spins down. Albertine is in first place. What a development.
Listen to the crowd, too. They love it. They want to see a challenge. I don't think people want to see Jeremy get beat, but they do want to see him have to push hard and to win the race.
At the top of the horseshoe, Jeremy washed out a bit, stayed up, kept the motor running, and Greg Albertine is now our new leader.
Look at the crowd cheering Jeremy on. They want to see a battle. They're going to get it. Jeremy's not going to give up. He's going to give Albertine everything he's got. We'll get a chance to see what he's made of now.
Jeremy McGrath in second place in hot pursuit now. It's going to be a real test if that knee. And there's Ian Harrison, the mechanic. Stay cool, Skip Norfolk tells Jeremy.
Yeah, Ian was pretty excited. Yeah, he's screaming. He loves to see his rider out in front of McGrath. This isn't over yet, that's for sure.
What a loyal crew member Ian has been throughout the ups and many downs for Albertine here in America. Picking it up in a battle for fourth place now, Doug Henry getting the challenge from Nolene's Kyle Lewis, and then Bradshaw comes into the picture, David.
Yeah, Bradshaw looks strong. He's putting the pressure on both these guys, and Henry's got banners wrapped around his front wheel. No doubt that's getting into the front brake, and he probably has no front brake. That plastic melts in there, and you don't get anything when you pull on the lever.
Oh boy, I can't imagine going down that downhill without a front brake. I just can't do it. Albie in first place, Showtime in second, Brian Swink in third, and this is the battle for fourth. Doug Henry, Kyle Lewis, and Bradshaw.
Here's that big downhill we were just talking about coming down. If he doesn't have much of a front brake or any at all, he's going to have a tough time getting stopped for this corner.
If one of those mammoth ruts doesn't put him out of the race and stop him altogether, but he took a wide sliding turn there.
And Bradshaw with the better line of the three goes all the way wide, taking advantage of these guys kind of getting each other's way right now. He can go pretty much wherever he wants.
Henry's still hanging on to fourth place now as we get a triad challenge. Lewis to the inside at the slow portion on that real tight turn. Lewis moving into fourth. Henry fifth, Bradshaw in sixth.
They're coming around to get into that whoop-de-doo section. I'd be surprised if Bradshaw can't get around Henry here pretty quick. Henry doesn't appear to be riding as good as I've seen him ride, but he's holding off Bradshaw right now. Lewis, I'm impressed. He's riding pretty good right now. Got around him. He's got a little breathing room now.
Former Mickey Thompson winner, tough in the outdoors. He's a tough individual anyway. Henry kind of reaching a plateau. Hasn't reached his expectations, but to many, it's a miracle he's on a bike right now.
Well, he is doing pretty good, but I don't think his results really show how well he's done so far this season. In his comeback, he's been up front a lot like he is here. He's hole shot quite a few of the indoor races, and it's just been stupid little things that have happened to him, getting in pile-ups and other riders knocking him down. He's made a few mistakes on his own to drop him way back in the pack and not reflect his speed, finishing in 17th, let's say, when he could have been maybe 4th or 5th.
I've always heard a racing theory that if you're out 6 to 8 weeks, it takes at least that to get back.
Well, he won't be back then until the Budds Creek round. So
that's my point.
Yeah, and I think if I were him and got back to Budds Creek, that big hill would be bothering me. I wouldn't even get any air over that. Look at Bradshaw, real aggressive up that hill, swapping around a little bit. Doesn't bother him though. He makes the pass.
Jeff Emig is making an incredible run. You see him there. He's just past Bradshaw, going into 5th place. And when you consider that he collided with Phil Lawrence on the first lap and got into a very bad position, it's an incredible run.
It sure is. And you remember the last couple of laps, we were on this battle with Bradshaw and Lewis, and we didn't even see Emig. And all of a sudden now, he's just reeled these guys in. He's already around Bradshaw. It seems inevitable he's going to get Lewis here pretty quick.
Emig does have that ability on the outdoors to ride on the edge.
Well, also when you go down in the first corner or the first lap, a lot of times you just get up and you're so mad. You don't care about anything. You don't think about riding nervous or with your arms pumped up. You just have nothing to lose. So you ride a lot better a lot of times than you do if you get the hole shot.
Boy, going through the pack like that, though, he had to eat a lot of dust.
Yeah, he's going to be tired after this moto for sure, but every point really counts in this championship series, and he's got to work his way up there and just see what he's got left in the second moto.
Kyle Lewis, the probable next victim of number 2, Jeff Emig. Emig very fast. Lewis steady, strong, but not as fast as Jeff Emig. Also, Phil Lawrence is making his way up through the pack after that first lap crash.
Yeah, they're both riding good. Emig, a little bit stronger of the two, a little bit better bike too, perhaps. And as they work through this whoop section. Look at Lewis wheeling about 4 or 5 of those bumps through there. I don't know if he can do that every lap. It takes a lot of energy to hold the front wheel up like that.
Great crowd interest, and Jeff Emig has always told us how much he enjoys motocross crowds. He said last week he'd like to go incognito amongst them one day, and I asked him about his disguise.
My costume. Well, I heard tell that Bob Hanna went up on the hill at a Unadilla in a rent-a-car dressed as a woman. So I'm not sure that I would go that far, but maybe a fake beard and some long hair, and some dark sunglasses or something. That might be, that might be the trick there. But Hanna, he's a little freak anyway. Sorry, Bob.
He was only kidding.
I would never call Bob Hanna a freak.
You'd never be able to get away with it, would you, Dave?
No, I have too much respect for that guy. Emig never raced against Bob. He just hears stories, and I can understand what he doesn't have the same outlook on Bob that I would have. But Bob's pretty amazing, and I wouldn't be surprised if he wore a dress anywhere. And if that's freaky, well, okay, I'll go along with it.
Did David Bailey do anything crazy like that?
No,
Did you ever go up into the stands or into the crowd?
I've been up in the crowd 1 year before Anaheim Stadium, 1982. I broke my foot right before the race, and I went and watched the race from the upper level. And it was pretty neat to sit amongst the crowd and hear how much they get into it.
Here he goes, Jeff Emig on the move, trying to pass Kyle Lewis, number 11, has the inside shot, good clean pass. Lewis trying to coattail him, though.
Well, he's going to be way on the tips of those coattails in a minute because Emig's already starting to pull away. Jeff riding fantastic, and he's lucky he didn't bend anything in that crash. It appears that everything's pretty straight. And you see in the air over that plateau, he's looking over around the racetrack, finding out, okay, I got this guy. Now where's my next victim? And that's going to be Brian Swink. And right now, he doesn't have any view of him. He's got to look way across the racetrack to see him.
Well, about the only thing Emig bent was that flagman's wallet that was in his back pocket there. Jeremy McGrath in second place in pursuit of this young man. Team Suzuki's Greg Albertine. His finest race of the year in this early season. Third round of the AMA National Outdoor Season.
He's got a pretty good lead, too, on McGrath right now. So, the rumors of Jeremy's knee being a little bit of a problem. He wasn't here, as we already pointed out, for press day or for yesterday's practice. And, maybe he's just giving it all he's got, and Albertine's got a little more.
Greg Albertine, after seeing so many flat tires in qualifying, etc., has gone with the foam-filled inner tire, and which he says is makes it a little more sluggish.
Oh, it's going to make it a little heavier. The acceleration may be just a little different. The bike's going to react a little different. But he's probably used it before. Europe, flat tires are a little more common because of the conditions. You're running across big rocks, tree roots, and they don't prep the tracks quite as nice over there as they do here in the States.
Albertine, a sizable lead on Jeremy McGrath as he passes the lapper. Here is the real battle, though, at this moment.
Wow, look at Emig. He flew down there. He didn't even let off. He held it wide open through the bottomed out. But look at the time he made up on Swink.
Brian Swink of Honda of Troy, number 23, has run an excellent race. He was so alone in third place, we really haven't mentioned him throughout the entire race.
Yeah, sorry, Brian. You know what happens, though, a lot of times you get out there kind of by yourself. You're not able to see the guys in front of you.
Here goes Emig.
Yeah,
he's going to see him now.
Yeah, he will. He'll see the back of him probably quite a bit. But you get out there stuck, and you really aren't able to stay in touch with anybody in front of you, and all of a sudden somebody starts catching you, and you have to try to change your pace, and it's really tough to do. Emig right now is just a lot quicker.
Well, he's a favorite here, too. You saw the fans reaching over as he went by. But Swink, to give him full credit, he's had the flu all week long. And to fade here toward the race's end might be expected.
Well, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. It's tough to race out here when you're healthy. And to have a sickness like that all week, in one way you could look at it and think that he might be fresh. But I've been sick before, and it's no fun to try to ride like that.
Brian Emig in pretty good position, though. And going down is Greg Albertine. Unbelievable. He had a sizable lead on Jeremy McGrath, and he gave Jeremy McGrath on a silver platter the lead here in Moto number 1.
I don't believe it. It's almost time to get the training wheels out for Greg Albertine. I talked to him before this race, in fact, and he's so determined, and is so willing to learn and to try anything. And he's not going to give up until he's able to win. He's so determined, but maybe in some cases a little bit too determined, and it's hard to tell why he went down there. It just seemed kind of like a little bit of a brain fade, and the front end just washed out.
Yes, the washout puts him in second place. He got up quickly, though, and the two were so far out in front of Brian Swank and Jeff Emig that he still has a good shot at holding on to second place. The race nearing its end.
Well, he's going to be kicking himself after this moto. I mean, he's still ridden fantastic. To fall and get second is still a great performance, but boy, sure had it all. Seemed like he had it in the bag and let it all slip away once again.
Was looking for his first win, really. He had a second place in the second moto at Hangtown near Sacramento in the last round.
Well, it is a gift for Jeremy. I mean, Jeremy probably can't believe it either, and Jeremy was starting to catch up to him a little bit, applying that pressure. Albertine probably saw that on the board, realized maybe I got to step it up just a little, and that might have been the difference. Right now he's lapping Phil Lawrence, who went down the first lap. So that gives you an idea how far up into the field he's starting to lap.
Hard-fought victory, though, for Jeremy McGrath, even though he was handed the lead this time.
Well, he may have applied the pressure to inherit that lead, as I just pointed out. You know, sometimes you could look at that as being lucky, or you could look at it as creating your own luck by letting Albertine know that, hey, you may be getting tired, but if you slack off, I'm going to be right there in the last lap. No one wants that to happen, and Albertine probably tried to pick it up a little bit and went down.
Final lap as the more than 15,000 fans cheering on Jeremy McGrath. Jeremy McGrath likes to look at this track as his home track as far as the outdoors.
Well, it's a lot of guys' home track, really, but Jeremy does live close by. He's ridden out here quite a bit. Bradshaw actually rode out here quite a bit before he made his comeback last year. Out here riding with the Yamaha guys. I remember talking to Ali Seymour, who was out there with Damon, said he looked great. And so, there's a lot of guys that have ridden on this track, but today it's completely different than it's been in the past.
So Jeremy McGrath, well on his way to keeping his record perfect. After moto wins in the first and second rounds, he starts off round number 3 with a sizable lead, big enough to wave to the fans.
Yeah, saluting the fans, and he's got the luxury now because Albertine really slacked off once he went down, understandably, and now Jeremy can ride this last lap, having a good time, and emotionally he's got to be feeling great. Wondering if he was going to be able to pull it off, and all of a sudden having it handed to him, and he can ride relaxed, save some energy on this last lap.
Well, that camera shot at the top of the hill darn near puts you right down the barrel of that rider. He's coming right at you. Great shot.
Well, Jeremy's got a different line, too, than most of the other guys, where he rides right out into the camera view. Right there he's going wide again, just so he can get a good run at this plateau, throw it sideways, and give those fans what they came to see.
Jeremy with still one more Supercross on the schedule at Denver, and is going to try for his 14th Supercross win in 15 events. But here in the outdoors, he's keeping his perfect string alive of moto victories so far. Jeremy McGrath, just an incredible, incredible story. And even the fans that know nothing about motorcycle racing now know the name of Jeremy McGrath for his domination of the sport.
13 in a row in the indoors, 5 in a row so far outdoors. It looks like that could be as many as 13, maybe more by the end of the season.
And of course, he won the last 5 straight motos last year in this series. So if you want to go back to last year, it's even more impressive.
Okay, I'll tell you what, you look like you have been through a war out there.
Yeah, the track was really rough, and I was right in front of Albie, and I fell up there on the hill, and he went by. I just tried to ride real smooth behind him and not let him get too far away, and then, I was just riding my own race, and I caught up to him, and he ended up falling down, so I guess change of the guard there.
Were you resigned to second place there?
Well, I was sitting in second, cruising, trying to pace myself because I knew my knee was a little bit injured, and actually it felt a lot better that time than in practice because I think it's a little bit more hot, it's a little more loose, and I'm looking forward to second moto. I wasn't tired.
Well, we'll find out if that knee stiffens up before Moto 2. Good luck.
I wasn't tired. Bad news for the other riders. Jeff Emig, though, riding with abandonment to third place. And Marty Reed is now with Jeff.
After going down in the first lap to come back from like 24th to 3rd, great run.
Yeah, I just got a little bit outside of a berm there on that first lap and, laid it down, and it was super dusty. I mean, I couldn't see nothing for about 5 laps. It was really dusty, and you're just kind of putting behind the guys, and that's why I didn't make it up to the front as fast as what I would have liked to.
It's got to give you a boost heading into the second moto now, knowing that you can cover that distance.
Yeah, I mean, I feel great. So, we'll just go back, and get a better start this next time and not have to worry about nobody. That'd be the best thing.
The last place finisher of the race, probably not as disappointed as number 16, Greg Albertine, who took a second place finish.
Greg, take us through what happened.
Well, I got a pretty good start. I was right behind Jeremy and, just pushing him a little bit, and he started making some pretty big mistakes, and then he went down. And I pulled a nice lead, and I just started battling a little bit. I'm running looser, so I didn't get a punch, and I was battling a little bit with control out there, and came into the one turn. Next thing I knew, I was on the ground. But Jeremy rode a really strong race. I got tired towards the end. It's incredibly hot out here. But my RM250 is just performing great, and I want to thank the team.
Okay, the 32nd board up, and the riders now, it's getting nervous time, except for those who are confident they can win the race, of course. Kyle Lewis, number 11, there's ME2. Jimmy Button, 100. Bradshaw, 28. McGrath, 103 is Natasevich. As we mentioned earlier, he races in Japan most of the year, comes back for selected races. And we're about set to go for our second moto in this hot and dusty land of San Bernardino. Emig with a pretty good start. Doug Henry, Phil Lawrence, and Emig all with good starts, but it's Jeremy McGrath once again with the whole shot into the first turn. Somebody goes down there in the back of the pack as we go to the front of the pack now. Jeremy. 15 is Doug Henry, former teammates. 13, Phil Lawrence. There's Greg Albertine, and Albertine goes down.
I don't believe it.
In the first turn, Albertine is down.
Takes out his teammate, number 8, Rocco. Had nowhere to go, ran into the back of his bike. I don't know if he did any damage to it, but there goes Team Suzuki.
All in one turn.
So Albertine, with a much different start this moto. He had it all going for him, and just little mistakes. I can't figure out what it is about Greg, but he's got speed. It seems like every time I mention his name, I mention the fact that he can't keep it on 2 wheels, but shoot, he's not proving me wrong. It's just a matter of time before he gets it all together.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. He went down pretty hard.
Yeah.
If the bike is damaged at all.
There's LaRocco. Look at how dusty it is. It's impossible to even see, but he's trying to work his way through the back markers. And in contrast to that, look how nice and clear it is out front for Jeremy.
Emig looks like he'll have another battle with Lawrence here pretty soon as we take a look at the field, picking different lines through the Dust Bowl.
Now, there's a couple of good lines there. One on the far left, one on the far right. Look at Jeremy all the way up over that double jump. Taps the brake in the air just to get the rear wheel over it. Lawrence, 16th in the first moto. He started working his way up, and then he just sort of hit the wall. I would look for him in this moto to do quite a bit better. Obviously, with a better start, that's going to be easy. But Emig really putting the pressure on him right now.
Jeremy McGrath already with a 4-second lead here in Moto 2 as the battle is behind him. Henry, Lawrence, and then Emig. Here you get a good idea as to the gap between first and second place. McGrath just in perfect form.
Lawrence cutting off Emig coming down that hill. Felt him on the inside, moved all the way over to protect that line. So these guys in a good battle. If they don't knock each other down, it'll be a lot better. The first moto, they really started off in the back.
Doug Henry refusing to let go of second place easily right now. In fact, he's making it tough on Emig and company.
Oh, he made it tough on Lewis and his teammate Bradshaw in the first moto. Look how far Emig jumps off that jump. That takes it out of you after a while. When you fly off a jump like that, you've got to land on the brakes from the corner. Front end slaps down like that. And he's going to try everything he can because he wants to challenge Jeremy. He wants to get up there. Remember the first round at Gainesville? He was right there, had a chance in the last couple of laps to get around him.
Okay, Emig cuts to the inside of number 15, Doug Henry, and moves into second place finally. Here comes Lewis on the run. This is a heated battle, however, as Phil Lawrence is trying to get around Doug Henry, number 15. Lawrence with a good race on his hands this time around. In the first moto, of course, colliding with Emig early, putting him way back and had to charge up or try to charge up through the pack. Right now, Lawrence has his hands full as Emig, Henry, and Lawrence battle it out along with Kyle Lewis, number 11.
Look at Lawrence's lines. He went all the way across the outside of the track to jump that double, then came about back to the inside, almost took the front wheel out of Lewis as he went back through there. Lewis just knew he was coming, had to slow down a little bit, but he's just trying to do everything he can to get around Henry right now. Henry's riding good, and you know, he shouldn't let anybody by, but he is kind of holding up the show right now, it looks like to me.
Lawrence of the Great Western team, basically on a stock bike, and in my estimation, David Bailey, he's earned a look-see from a factory.
Oh, I think so. It looks like he's going to make the pass right here. He moves to the inside of Henry. Good move. So that moves him into third in this moto. And you know, if he hadn't gone down in the first moto, he'd have been right up in there. Yeah, I think if Kawasaki's got room, two of their guys, Hughes and Huffman, or not Huffman, Emick, only have one-year contracts. So depending on what happens to them, they might have room for Phil. And he was already a factory Suzuki rider at one point, and Suzuki may have room as well. If he doesn't get a factory ride, it'd be a little disappointing.
Lewis also getting by Henry now, moves into 5th position. Here's our leader, Jeremy McGrath, and it'll be a decade before somebody else comes around the corner. There we go. Emick picking up some room on McGrath.
Yeah, he's not that far behind. Look how close this battle is. These guys have actually they stayed in touch with Emick. That section right through there watered nicely. These guys did a good job trying to keep the track watered. Look at Lewis.
Oh, Lewis, a tough ride right now, looking for 5th spot. Coming through the dust, there's Henry, and here comes behind Henry, it looks like Bradshaw. Oh, Henry going off the track. Bradshaw taking advantage of it.
Right, good job by Bradshaw. He had the inside in that corner. Henry just went, got a little outside of his line, went almost off the racetrack, almost got tangled in the banners again.
Kawasaki with only one rider in this race. That's, of course, Jeff Emick. After Damon Huffman has undergone surgery, Dr. Stedman, the famous ski team doctor, working on his knee. And then, of course, Ryan Hughes in Charlotte, after he crossed the finish line, took a big crash.
Well, guys, you'll never guess who I bumped into, and boy, what a surprise. I didn't expect to see him even at the racetrack for a while. It's going to be a little hard to talk, but Ryan Hughes, the gutsiest ride I have ever seen back at Charlotte, when you actually fractured your jaw, didn't know it at the time. Bring us up to date. How do you feel?
Actually, I feel good. It feels like I could ride right now, but just trying to take it easy and get things worked out, and hopefully I'll come back by Mount Morris. Next week I'm going to go out and ride and just see how it feels, and just go from there. I'm just kind of going by how it feels, and just try not to hurt myself anymore.
Tip your chin up a little bit, because this is where he took it, right on the handlebar. Broke this jaw over here. You keep this up, you're going to look like one of these hockey players.
Yeah, I feel like one already. I think I can be the bad guy in some movies now, Scarface. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you make it back by then, I'll be there to watch, I guarantee it.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
One of the real nice guys in racing, too.
Can you imagine that, having your jaw wired shut?
No.
Okay,
especially in my job.
Yeah, try and yawn. You can't, the simplest thing, you can't do it anymore. It's got to be so frustrating. Look at Lewis now, putting pressure on. It worked.
Yes.
Into the inside of Lawrence, forced him wide.
Kyle Lewis, and here comes Lawrence firing back, but not firing back with as much ammunition. Kyle Lewis doing a fine job in 3rd place now.
Bradshaw right there in that battle. He seemed like maybe the quicker of the three. He's caught him from further back. I like Bradshaw's lines. He's going outside, inside, maintaining a little bit more speed. Getting a face full of dirt, though, everywhere he goes from those two guys in front of him.
Big roost off the back tire of Lawrence. Lewis with his finest moto finish, number 11 in the first moto, a 5th place finish, has a chance for a better one here in the 2nd moto.
This is where conditioning is really going to pay off. So you get like the midway point towards the end of the 2nd moto. These guys have ridden all day. They're tired. They're beaten up. Their hands are sore. You're getting chafed from the sand, getting down in your pants and your boots, and you just want this thing to be over with. The guy that wants the best condition is going to really pay off.
You don't get a lot of time between motos either. What did you try to do, David, to refresh yourself between motos?
Well, you want to get back to the truck as soon as you can and get your gear off and get some new gear, and hopefully you've got that already laid out. My wife Gina used to take care of some of that, and so my mechanic, but you only got about an hour. And it just seems like as soon as you sit in the chair and get something cold to drink, they call second the first call to the staging area for the second moto, and you're like, oh man, already? But right now, Bradshaw has apparently done the right things between motos because he's on fire right now. Look at that.
He is on fire. Coming down that big downhill jump, Damon Bradshaw is now passing Kyle Lewis in a good bar-to-bar battle.
He earned this. He went around Phil Lawrence on the outside, smoking around the outside, did the same thing to Lewis before the downhill.
Jeremy McGrath way out in front as Ward cuts inside of Lawrence. Lawrence trying to battle back, taking the long route around, and Larry gasses it into 5th position.
Larry Ward, a good strong ride. Lawrence, who had run as high as 3rd, really starting to fade now. I think that first moto crash, having to try to battle through the pack, may have taken it out of him, and it does look like he's fading. Now look at LaRocco really coming on strong after crashing in that corner in the first lap.
Right, LaRocco came out of it after the first lap in 12th position. By lap 5, he was in 8th, and now he's got a chance of finishing higher than that, 6th or maybe even 5th. Here's the pass by LaRocco into 6th.
I think he's riding like Emig did in the first moto. You just go down in the first lap like that, and you're so mad. You just get up and ride without anything to lose. And a lot of times you ride better than you do when you get a good start. You don't ride as nervous.
It looks like Albertine's given up the ghost.
Greg, this looks like a real mess. What happened?
As I came out of one of the turns of one of the slower riders that I was passing, kind of came over a little bit on me and pushed me a bit wide, and that was it. I went into the bannering or whatever, and that was it, and it's stuck in my wheel. Doesn't look like I can get it out. And then I had a really good start, and then Phil Lawrence screwed up in this one turn and caused me to go down. But that's racing. I ain't gonna give up, man. I'm gonna beat these guys.
Now there you hear the determination of Greg. I told you, he's tough. He's not going to give up. But geez, you know, I mean, this is one thing after another for this guy, and really messed things up for his teammate. He talked about Lawrence messing him up. He really messed up LaRocco, but LaRocco's making the best of it right now.
Well, I've never seen a prettier banner display.
Yeah, it was nice and orange. Kind of goes with the orange Suzuki S on the side.
Trying to hang in there is LaRocco as he's taking on Larry Ward. Here comes LaRocco.
What a pass.
Nice pass.
He barely got in there. The back tire almost went over the berm. Larry Ward tried to just get on the gas just enough to not leave him any room, and LaRocco found some. Now he's around him.
After clutch problems in the first moto, only 3 laps. In fact, he has done a terrific job here in Moto number 2 after hard luck at the beginning, as you mentioned, David.
Well, the Suzuki team has just had a really tough time getting things under control. These guys having bad luck going down the first corner, the first lap. A couple of weird sort of DNFs, clutch basket problems. Last week, Roger said he'd never seen anything like it, but hopefully they'll get it all together. LaRocco's definitely got a chance this outdoor if he can put together good motos from here on out.
At least they've proved, David, I think, that Roger DeCoster's hard work in trying to develop the 250 program it is a more competitive bike this year.
Right, they got a much better foundation to work off of, and LaRocco's made a lot of changes this year, but you know, you got to understand that he came from Kawasaki and he's riding a completely different bike, and he's got to do whatever it takes to make him comfortable. And once he finds that combination, he's going to be a real threat because he still wants to beat Jeremy. And you know, you see Albertine on the side of the track and these guys that have trouble and have to pull off or get bad motos, and you know, I don't think it would be as bad as if Jeremy wasn't still out there winning. They all want to beat him so bad. They're having problems. He's out there riding around the lead, crossing it up, waving to the fans, and it just really rubs it in.
Jeremy McGrath has earned the right to rub it in, really, with great conditioning. Jeff Emig in second place right now, and it looks like he'll nail down that second place finish after a third place in the first moto for what looks like a second overall. Jeremy McGrath headed once again to victory. He is ahead now by 20 seconds over Jeff Emig, and in third, Bradshaw. Lewis, an inspired performance from Lewis, a tough appearance by the no-lean rider.
Well, he's obviously comfortable out here at this track. It has everything in it that he likes. He got decent starts and stayed up there, didn't make mistakes like some of the other guys did. And, you know, I wonder if Jeremy ever gets bored. You know, you gotta wonder. I mean, people are already heading for the cars. The traffic jam's starting to accumulate, and they know there's no way in the world anyone's going to beat this guy. I mean, look at the lead he's got. And it's just about every week. You know, and it's not his fault that he's doing his job a little better than everyone else, but occasionally, especially for us up here, it's like, what the heck else are we going to say about this guy that we haven't already said?
Well, there's no doubt about it. He'd probably win on another machine, but would he win as much and as consistent without Skip Norfolk, without Wes McCoy, without the tremendous support that Jeremy McGrath gets on him?
That's a good point, and I think it's doubtful. I've said a million times that I don't think it's necessarily the bike that makes Honda so dominant. I think they've won a title every year since 1982. It's the team and the experience that all those guys have at winning titles ever since 1982. I mean, that's a long time to keep winning championships, and obviously a good combination and a good motorcycle. And they seem to get lucky when they pick their riders. They pick them carefully, and the guys do the job for them.
Well, I think a rider inspires the whole team, too, as we've seen from time to time in the 125 ranks. For instance, this year, the fine performances of Wyndham and Dowd in their competitions have truly inspired Yamaha to excel each week and to go out and get a better performance.
Right, and I just wonder who the heck is going to fill Jeremy's shoes. I mean, the guy is such a showman with his Superman jumps and his knack, and the way he wins every week being so dominant. Who the heck is going to follow in those shoes? I don't know. Like, somebody, I guess, probably will eventually.
The checkered flag for the second time of the afternoon. Jeremy McGrath keeps his perfect record alive. He's 6 out of 6 in the 1996 season. Jeff Emig coming across in second place. And considering the battle that Emig had to fight through in both motos, he had to be exhausted at the end, but a good performance from Jeff.
Yeah, if we look at all the things he battled through, as you already pointed out, a third and a second overall, it's not too bad. It could have been a heck of a lot worse. Look at Albertine.
The cool head and the conditioning of Jeremy McGrath pays off once again here in Moto 2. Let's go down to Marty Reed.
For the 11th straight time on national competition in motos, you have made it to the #1 spot again. Congratulations.
Well, I thought today was going to be a little different. You know, I thought the mix-up would be different because of my knee injury. But, you know, I think being so hot, it helped to get loose. And I felt really good in the moto. The heat wasn't a problem, and I feel really strong after taking a couple days off this week.
The knee, though, did it give you any twinges while you were out there at all? Because it certainly didn't look it.
No, first half I was a little intimidated by my knee, and second moto I knew that my knee was fine, so I came around and you know, I went for it from the start, and that's where I got my lead.
Well, guys, no pain means more trouble for the rest of this field.
As they head for Mount Morris as well, McGrath, Emig, and Bradshaw. Bradshaw, Mount Morris country. That's where he broke back in off his retirement last year. Let's go back to Marty.
A very exhausted Jeff Emig. I'll tell you what, you gave it everything you had.
Yeah, well, I just didn't have much energy, I guess, in that second moto after I have to put on such a charge in the first moto. I was good there for a little while, you know, when I was charging, and I just couldn't get it together. You know, I was just, you know, my forearms were just getting a little bit tired, and that's just about it.
Well, second still nothing to slouch off about. I mean, especially what a great comeback after what did happen in the first moto. I mean, a third and a second, and points are points.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's good that we got points at least. You know, we just, you know, but I'm here to win races, you know, and not to get, you know, thirds and seconds and everything else, especially on a day when I could have won because I felt fast. You know, the Kawasaki was working awesome. You know, Bridgestone gave us the tires that we needed, and you know, I just didn't get it together, I guess. You know, all the fans here, you know, they were just great, and you know, I'd like to thank them for it, and I'd like to wish all the mothers, you know, a happy Mother's Day, you know, along with my girlfriend also.
Taking a look at the point standings going into Mount Morris now for round 4. Jeremy McGrath, the perfect score. Damon Bradshaw in third after a 6th and 3rd today.
Well, as you can tell, third place looks as tired as first and second, but I'll tell you what, you came back strong there.
Yeah, I did. I just tried to, you know, keep pushing. The track was dry and hard to race on today. You know, I'd like to have done this a lot more times, but you know, I'll take it.
We were talking to Steve during that second moto, and he said, yeah, he didn't like where he finished in the first one. He said he sort of had the bit between his teeth.
Yeah, I'm happy with second moto finish. I would like to have, you know, been able to race with those guys, but they're tough and they're going fast. It's, you know, it's going to take me some time. I'm trying.
Hey, third place. I'm telling you, there's a lot of guys that still like to be right where you're at.
Thank you.
There are more guys that would rather be where Jeremy McGrath is at right now. It's the same story, it seems like, that we started the year off. A string of victories in Supercross, now a string of victories. 6 in a row as far as motos, 3 in a row as far as overalls here in the National Outdoor Series for Jeremy McGrath. Art Ekman for David Bailey and Marty Reed. Thank you for being with us. Our next show from Mount Morris.